Hello and welcome to Professor Pincushion. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can take an ordinary pumpkin and transform it to look like a pincushion. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's take a look at the supplies we're going to need. So first, of course, you're going to need your pumpkin. You're going to need some green yarn. I have some felt for creating the top of the pincushion and also for creating the strawberry. So I have green and red, some sewing thread, some pins and needles, pattern pieces which you can download off our site, some sewing scissors, so scissors that can cut fabric. You need a little bit of the polyester stuffing. This is going to go in our strawberry. I have 3.5-inch nails. This is going to be for creating the straight pins. You can either use fabric glue like me, or you can use a glue gun. I have 1/2-inch pom-poms, and then I have some acrylic paint. I have green and red, and I have a foam brush. All right, first step, we're going to paint our pumpkin. So I have red and I have green. So red is going to be for the orange portion of the pumpkin, so the main pumpkin. And again, I'm using acrylic paint. Depending on your paint, you may have to use more than one coat. Don't forget to lay something down so you're protecting the surface that you're painting on. And you want it to look very even. And then I just have green paint that I'm going to use for painting the stem, because I want it to look less natural and look more like the top of a pincushion. While we're waiting for the pumpkin to dry, we're going to move on and work on other parts of it. So the first thing is I'm going to use my pattern pieces and cut out the 3 pieces that I need out of my felt. So the first thing is going to be the pincushion top, and these straight edges here need to be placed on the fold of your fabric. So after I cut it out and open it up, you end up with a piece like this. Then the next 2 pieces are for the strawberry. So you're going to cut one out of red. This is going to be the base of the strawberry, and then you have the strawberry top, and I'm going to cut this out of green. So you only need to do one of each of these. Let's go ahead and create our strawberry. So you're going to start with your red felt that's already cut out. These 2 straight edges need to come together, and you're just going to fold it like this. And you're going to pin, because we're going to sew a 1/4-inch seam allowance on this straight edge only. So you have a fold here, and then you have the curved side that's going to be open here. I'm going to sew my 1/4-inch seam allowance on my sewing machine, but if you don't have a sewing machine, you can also just do this by hand by doing a small running stitch. Now I'm getting to the end. I started at the widest point, and now I'm getting to the tip of the strawberry. If you don't want your tip of your strawberry to be completely pointy, you can just kind of curve it around and sew towards the folded edge of the strawberry. And that way it'll be more rounded at the end instead of pointy. Then I'm going to cut off this corner here, because we don't need that. Flip your strawberry right side out. So now the seam is on the inside, and we're looking at the right side of the strawberry. You're going to take a little bit of your polyester stuffing and go ahead and put a little bit inside your strawberry so it kind of fills it out. We want to gather the top of the strawberry. So I'm going to do a running stitch, and I'm doing this by hand, which is just some needle and thread. And I'm using a contrasting thread, so it's a little bit easier for you to see. So I'm just starting, and I'm going to go all the way around the strawberry, and I'm only doing about 1/8 of an inch away from the top. You can see I go in, move my needle a little ways away from that, and then I come out again. And then I'm going to do it again. And I just keep rotating the strawberry until I get back to the beginning. Once you finish sewing all the way to the beginning, don't knot your thread. Instead, you're just going to leave the thread in, and you're going to start pulling it. And that's going to start, you can see it starting to gather my top. And if you need to push your stuffing down in there, go ahead and do that. And you want to get it as tight as you can. So if I move this up to this view, you're going to see it's going to start closing. So I'm just going to get it as close as I can. I'm going to grab my needle, which I still have here. And so once it's as close as I'm going to get, I'm going to start going through my gathering stitches and tying knots in them. So I'm going through the first one where my thread's coming out, so I can tie a quick knot, and that should hold it. So I create a loop, and I go through the loop. Let's see what happens when I let go. Okay, great. So now it's not going to come undone. And now I'm just going to kind of grab a piece of my strawberry top from the other side so I can bring the top even closer together. And you can see a little bit of my stuffing is coming out, but there's going to be a top to the strawberry, so it's not like it's going to ruin it if a little bit is peeking out like mine. So I'm just going from one side to the other side, and I'm pulling as I do it. So then I'm closing up my strawberry even more. Once you get it as much as you want, let's say, okay, that's pretty good for me, then I'm just going to grab a little bit of the fabric in the top here. All right, so I'm going to grab a little bit to where my thread is coming out. That's going to create the loop, and I'm going to go through the loop and tie my knot. And I do it twice just to make sure. Cut a piece of your yarn that's about 12 to 14 inches. It's better to be a little bit longer and you can trim it down later than to make it too short. You can see on one end I created a knot, and I'm going to take the knotted end, and here's the end of my strawberry again, what we just gathered up, and put my knot right in the middle there. I'm going to grab my needle and thread again, and we're just going to tack it into place. So I'll grab a little bit of my fabric from the strawberry, and then I'll go right in the middle of that knot there. Okay, and then maybe I'll grab a little bit on this other side. So I would put at least 4 or 5 stitches into this just to make sure that the yarn's not going to go anywhere. Here we have the strawberry top, and you can see I now have a hole in the center, and what I used was just a regular hole puncher. Punched a hole right in the middle there. If you don't have a hole puncher, you can just go ahead and use scissors and cut a slit. And I'm going to take my yarn. So this is the other end. This is not the end that we sewed our strawberry to. Just fit that right on there. I'm going to pull it along until I get to my strawberry and slip it right over there. So then that's going to hide all this work we've done under here, hide that knot. And just to keep it on, I'm now going to use some of my fabric glue, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the leaves here and then glue it to the strawberry. We have our pumpkin back after it's dried, and you can see I started the next step, which is creating these little dividing lines so it looks like a pincushion. So you're going to have your yarn, and you're going to start at the base of the stem here, and you can use either fabric glue or use your glue gun, glue the end here. In one single strand, you're going to go down, you're going to go underneath the pumpkin, and then you're going to come up on the other side, and you're going to go ahead and glue that into place as well. So I usually do this with 3 strands. So this strand here, start here, go down, go underneath the pumpkin, and then I come up on the other side. So that's one strand here, then I have another one going here, and you can't see where it ends, but it's on the back of the stem here. And then I'm going to put one more right here and end it about right here. Next, you're going to take your pincushion top, and with our hole, you're going to slip it over the stem. And you may have to make the hole a little bit bigger depending on how big your stem is. I would rotate it to where you would like it to be on your pumpkin. Usually I like the points to be kind of centered between the lines that we've created here. Now what we're going to do is end up gluing this to our pumpkin, either using the hot glue gun or your fabric glue. But before you do that, we need to attach our strawberry, which is going to be hanging off the side here. Now this, I tied a knot at the end, and it looks like I end up making the finished length, I'd say about maybe 6 or 7 inches here. You can really depend on how long you want it to be. So I put a knot at the end, and I want this to be attached to the back of the leaf here. So it's going to be hidden on the back side, and we're not going to see the knot. So let me just tuck it in to show you as an example. So something like that. And I just need to figure out where this placement is going to be. So if I want it here, I'm just going to mark on the inner edge of the leaf here where my placement is. Use a pin, use a fabric marker or something. Just kind of make some sort of indication. You can kind of see my mark right there. Because then I'm going to remove this and know exactly where I need to glue this on the back side of the knot. So when you glue it, I'm going to show you that next, but we're going to make sure that it's going to be in the right spot and also that our strawberry is in the correct position so we can get this back on the stem. Where I have my mark, that's where I'm going to put my yarn. So you can see I have a little bit of glue right on the edge there of the knot, and I'm just making sure that I go on the back side of where my mark is, because this is going to be the top of the leaf and it's going to be the right side, and we want to make sure that the knot is going to be on the underside. After I glued on my strawberry, I then took this leafy top part of my pincushion, put it back on, glued everything into place, and you can see it looks quite nice as it is. And if you want to stop at this point, you're definitely free to do that. If you want to add a little bit extra, we can go ahead and add our straight pins. So in this case, I'm going to be using 3.5-inch nails. Of course, you can use whatever size nail that you want. And if I'm going to do this, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick the position I want to do it. I'm going to hammer it in. I would not hammer it in all the way. Just hammer it in enough so you still have some sticking out, so it kind of gives it more of an artistic flair. And after you nail it in, then you would take your pom-pom and you would use your glue and glue it to the top of the nail. So what I'm saying is, don't glue it to the top and then try to hammer it in, because we don't want to smash our little pom-pom. We want it to stay nice and fluffy. So hammer it in, then glue on your pom-pom. Here is the end result of my pumpkin transformation. I wanted to show you what it looks like with a couple of my straight pins in it. So the nails are sticking out, I would say about 2 inches. I have my pom-poms glued to the top, and it looks like a pincushion. Make sure to check out our other videos and visit ProfessorPincushion.com to view our complete library with well over 150 sewing video tutorials. New tutorials are released regularly, so make sure to subscribe to be notified of the next release. Thanks for watching!